Hey guys, it is once again time for book chat. In the past we have talked about covers on book chat, and I think we're about due for another cover chat, but before we get to that, I thought we would talk about book spines. In my bookshelf tour, I talked about how I tend to think of what a book looks like, and that's why I was able to categorize by color. And something that came up in the comments was the fact that there are some pretty spines out there. A lot of them are just solid colors, and a lot of them are just plain black or white, which is really boring. But I think more attention is being paid to the full cover. You get a lot more wraparound covers, and as a result you get prettier spines. So I don't know how many people actually pay attention to what their book spines look like. I certainly do, and I get very, very happy when one has a pretty book spine because I know what it's going to look like on my shelves. And I actually used to have a shelf that was all of the prettiest book spines. Before I got my new shelves and was able to fully embrace the color thing, I would pull out my favorite spines and they all got their own little shelf so that I could see them all. So I have a lot, of course. I'm gonna go through them really quickly. I don't know how well you'll be able to see all of the spines and how gorgeous some of them really are, just because so many times with book covers in general, seeing them in person is when you really get to see all of the great details and work that went into making it gorgeous. But hopefully you can see enough to see why I love them. So in no particular order, my favorite spines from my shelves are the spine for Mr. Muo's traveling couch. I'm not gonna lie, I bought this entirely because of the spine. I'll open it out and see if that helps you see it anymore. I found this at a dollar store, so I didn't even need to know what it was about. When I saw that gorgeousness for $1, I was like, okay. Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen, which is just striped like circus tent style. It's really simple but really effective, and it makes it really easy to spot on my shelves, so I love it. Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. This follows the theme of the cover, very kind of steampunky, and just looks really good. I hope it's not too dark to notice all the detail in there. Folly, this one again is maybe kind of dark. It looks like Victorian wallpaper, sort of. Shattered Souls, the flowers wrap around onto the side. Cold Kiss, I just really like, first of all, it's really, really shiny, and I don't know how well you can really see that. It's just iridescent, sort of, and it has this icy blue color, but I also just really like the scroll work on the words. Jane by April Lindner. It's just plain, sort of gloomy gray, but it has this pop of pink that I really like. A Red Herring Without Mustard by Alan Bradley. First of all, just the color of this is stunning. I love it, but it mimics the globe with the spider on the side. And then of course that great color. Shine by Lauren Miracle. This is one of those wraparound covers that I was talking about. So you get the in-between of those two scenes, and then also that little magnolia. It's just a great cover in general. Frostfire by Zoe Marriott. Just really pretty, kind of smoky blue iciness, and I love the font. The cover for Mad Apple, if you get the hardcover, is also a wraparound. Mine's not, unfortunately, but you do get the side view, which I like. The strange thing is I didn't notice the spine on this one until I was going through to pull out the books that I was going to talk about, but it's The Gates by John Connolly. Those gates are eyeballs. Ruby Red, I love the design of this book just across the board. The spine is simple, but it's this great sort of metallic ruby color, and then it has the little flourishes that the front of the cover has. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this one because it's very dark, but the spine for The Poison Eaters by Holly Black is black and purple checker. It's kind of neat. Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. This one is just really gorgeous. Kind of tattoo style roses and thorns on this sort of crimson background. Very pretty. Wither, again, this cover is pretty all the way around, but I just really like the little boxy, liney thing that they did is carried through the entire thing, and I just love how they incorporated it. Dearly Departed, again, another wraparound cover. Just nice, and I love that little detail on it, and then the font's nice too. I'll show you this way. Dust to 100 Dogs has a miniature of the skull. of Bees and Mist. You don't find many orange covers, and this one carries over the sort of scroll work vines on the side, and I like that. The Goose Girl by Shannon Hale carries over this sort of cracked painting thing. Unland Dunn sort of pulls the same sort of distressed thing with just pretty colors. I really like the way it looks. The Evolution of Calpurnia Tate also has the scrollwork trees in this case that are kind of repeated on the spine, and I like the font as well. And again, more scrollwork this time though. It's metallic. It's just embossed on the sides, but it's foiled on the front of the cover. I don't know if you can tell, but this is for Entwined by Heather Dixon. Really pretty font, but then also the leaves, the embossed leaves. I don't know what the finished cover of The Near Witch looks like. It might be different, but for my ARC, it has a wraparound back and spine. The cover is totally different, but these match, which I think is interesting. But so you get that little glimpse of the moors. For Burn Bright, I've talked about this one before. You do get like a sort of crop of the model's painted eye, but then you also have the glorious titling. I don't know what it is. It really looks like silk, and I don't think you can tell, but it shines. It actually sort of emits light, just like it does on the front. It's absolutely stunning. Of Poseidon by Anna Banks, I think that the cover itself is kind of blah, not terribly blah. I like it, but it's not one that I would pull out as one of my favorite covers. But for the spine, I actually really, really like the way they did the title, and that it's metallic and purple. So I'm sure there are plenty more, and I'm probably going to kick myself and say, how did I forget about such and such? But those are some of my favorite book spines. I think that I love the attention to detail in a good spine, and it shows that they really approach the cover as cover art. I think cover art is important not just as a publicity tool, but as a representation of the book and as work of a legitimate cover artist. So I love it when there's that extra little bit, that little pop, that little something, especially because if you go in a bookstore or a library, the books aren't always going to be face out on the shelf. In fact, they very rarely are. A very limited amount actually get face time. Most of the time you're seeing the spine, so it should work just as hard to grab you as the cover does. So I definitely would love to see video responses from you guys, especially if you generally don't think about what your covers look like or your book spines look like. This is the perfect opportunity to kind of dig through your shelves and find out which of your books have the prettiest spines. You of course can do a blog post too and just take pictures if you want, or just talk about them. Whatever you want to do, but I hope that you will do a response because I love being on the lookout for a good spine. I know I'm kind of crazy about things like that, but I think a lot of readers actually are, so I'm okay with that. If you do a vlog or blog response, definitely make sure to link it up either as a video response below or at the linky on thebookrat.com. I will leave that in the info bar, as well as links to all of the books that I mentioned, so you can find out what they're about if you want, or you can track them down in real life and see what those gorgeous spines really look like in the light of day in all their glory. That's all from me for this book chat. If you have ideas for book chat, definitely leave me a comment or send me a message and let me know what you'd like to see. And that's all from me for now. As always, happy reading! Hey guys, it is once again